Donald Trump's like a modern Rasputin. He just gets stronger no matter how often Democrat prosecutors try to kill him, charge him with alleged crimes. The latest poll shows he's now got a stunning lead over his other Republican rivals to become their party's candidate in the next year's presidential election. He's on 62% now, with his closest rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, on just 16%, and everyone else about nowhere, which is going to be embarrassing when the Republicans tomorrow hold their first candidates debate, because Trump has announced he's not going to be there. He says it's leading by legendary numbers and the public knows who I am and what a successful presidency I had. I will therefore not be doing the debates. Joining me from New York is commentator and filmmaker Ami Horowitz. Ami Horowitz, great to speak to you again. Donald Trump could actually make the debate between his rivals look even more irrelevant because he's pre-recorded an interview with sacked Fox News host Tucker Carlson. When do you think that will screen?
Yeah, so that's going to be the competition he's going to bring on against the debates. I got to say, I just do not understand the Republican policy on this debate. It drives me insane. Okay, look, he's not willing to debate. That's fine. That's his choice. But why is the RNC, the Republican National Committee, and the debate committee allowing Trump's surrogates to be in the spin room to put their spin on the debate that's happening without Donald Trump? I don't get it. They could simply say, look, you don't want to be part of the debates. That's fine. We don't agree with it, but that's your choice. But there's no way in hell we're going to allow your spin masters to start spinning their perspective on this debate. You're not here. If you're not going to be here in person, you're not going to be here with your surrogates.
So what does that mean for the debate? Because all eyes will probably be on what Tucker Carlson and Trump say, rather than it'd be like, the debate will be like the Seven Dwarfs without Snow White. What will the point of it be?
Well, look, 91, they did a poll, and 91% of the potential viewers of this debate said very clearly, they want everybody to make the case for themselves, and they do not want to see them bashing Trump, right? So what this is an opportunity for them to introduce themselves to the American people on a large platform. And I think that's important. I think it's clarifying. I think there are a range of ideas, and I think people need to know who stands where. Now, for example, one of the candidates just came out against aid for Israel. I think that's awful, but I think people need to know the position. So I think this is going to be clarifying to know and to separate the candidates from each other. Look, I think that the Republican Party has great candidates. Some will be on the stage, some will not be on the stage. But I think it's vital for these guys to make their case, because Trump is running away with this. This is the only chance they're going to have to differentiate themselves, or to say, this is why I deserve to be the candidate for president of the United States and represent the Republican Party.
But what's the point? You're going to have one guy who will never get the nominee debating another guy who will never get the nomination. We'll give debating yet a third person who won't get it. I mean, what's the point of it?
Oh, you are so cynical. You are so cynical. Look, the point is nothing is predetermined. Yes, right now it looks like Trump's lead is unassailable. Look, nothing is written in stone. I think that ultimately you're going to have a winnowing of the field, and you're going to see people coalescing toward one of the candidates. It might be DeSantis, it might be Tim Scott, who knows? But the point is, at one point there will be a winnowing. I think Trump's lead will degrade somewhat. I think you're going to get a competitive shot. I just cannot sit here and say that it is written in stone that Trump be the nominee. I just don't know we just don't know that.
I hope people are listening to you before they trot off to lay their bets. You're in New York, Ami. There are amazing scenes there. I can't believe what I'm looking at. Asylum seekers sleeping in the streets outside an upmarket hotel, sleeping under bridges for a while until they got moved on, moving into an old mental asylum. Now talk of even being put up in tents in your parks, even Central Park, for heaven's sake. Most of them seem to be men from Africa. How they got in such numbers to America beats me. as well as from South America, even a couple of Russians I saw there. What is going on in New York?
I think what we're seeing is incredible. First of all, I want to say this. Look, hats off to the border states for this beautiful piece of political theater. If I wasn't living it, I would be more supportive, but I have to live this every day because I live in Manhattan. It is incredible. The amount, look, the lack of self-awareness among the Democratic Party and the leaders of the blue cities is incredible to me. You had Eric Adams, the governor of New York, say it is inhumane to send people to New York City. Does he listen to himself? I mean, it's incredible. State of Massachusetts has called a state of emergency because of the migrants. To give you some perspective, there are less than 60,000 migrants in New York. Now, for those who don't know New York City, the New York City parks are sacred spaces, right? We live in an urban jungle. Central Park, Randall Park, Governor's Island, these are sacred spaces. We don't have a lot of green space. What are we doing? We are taking Randall Park, one of the major parks of New York, and we are putting massive tents across the entire park. They calculate that there's over 3,000 hours of youth sports that has been canceled already because of the migrants. And they're sitting in these tents with Xboxes and movie theaters that they can watch. We are spending billions of dollars on the migrants. Yes, you're laughing, but I'm living in it, Andrew. You know, I took pictures of some of the migrants living up and down my area of the Upper West Side. And I hate to say it. I do. I don't want to say it. But look, I see guys who walk around with bottles of vodka, drunk. I would say a third of the people I see on the streets of New York are just drunk. I don't know if I blame them, right?
Yeah, but
who wants to live in this situation also?
But Ami, one reason I'm laughing is just brilliant. You know, the Republican states down south that have had to deal with, as you say, you know, 1 million people more coming across the border. You know, they had to deal with it. They started busing up, like Texas, they started busing up the people to New York, famously left-wing, and say, well, look, see if you like it. And suddenly the New Yorkers think, oh, we don't really, big tiz, you know, 60,000 is too many for them. I think it's so funny. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much indeed for your time. I hope the next time we cross you, you won't be having to sit in a tent yourself in New York, so one of New York's parks, I don't know.
Thank you very much.
But I have to show you this. Joe Biden, meanwhile, has proved again how incredible it is that he is president of the most powerful nation on earth. He seems lost now in an old man's land filled with fantasies, babbling on. He flew to Hawaii to show support after fires just killed at least 114 people, and actually claimed he kind of knew what it was like to have lost so much because he'd been there.
But we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. Years ago, now 15 years ago, I was in Washington doing Meet the Press. It was a sunny Sunday, and lightning struck at home on a little lake that's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond, and hit a wire and came up underneath our home into the heating ducts, the air conditioning duct. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat.
What makes that almost anecdote, that amazing analogy, even more stupid, is that that house fire Biden mentioned was just one small room of his, you know, small one in his kitchen. And he's been fact-checked on this stupid story a few times already. The man really is a liar.